January, and yes, leprosy is still a thing. Armadillo allies are just another way to give. It's a movement of kindness with its own heartbeat. You see, Dili has joined Leprosy Mission's campaign to eliminate leprosy transmission, disability and stigma, because more than most of us, Dili understands leprosy. Incredibly, the armadillo is the only other mammal that is susceptible to the bacteria Mycobacterium leprae, which Australians know as leprosy or Hansen's disease. However, scientists have now determined that we humans actually transmitted leprosy to the lovable armadillo about 400 to 500 years ago. Today, up to 20% of some armadillo populations are thought to be infected. An armadillo is a gentle, unassuming creature that didn't seek out the leprosy bacteria. Instead, the bacteria sought out Dili, just as the bacteria seeks out vulnerable children and adults whose immune system has been weakened, making them easy targets. Pray for the work of the Leprosy Mission International as they coordinate the work. The dawn of a new era. Christopher Columbus made this famous quote, "You can never cross the ocean unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore." Do you remember in your school days how we learnt the year when Columbus crossed the Atlantic Ocean to reach the New World? In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. I can remember learning that at school and also teaching that for many years when we actually taught history. The sea explorers, Columbus, Bartholomew Dias, Vasco da Gama, Ferdinand Magellan, James Cook, and Sir Francis Drake, to name a few. The major seafaring countries had a fascination with finding out what lay beyond the known world. There was a race between the Spanish, Italian, Portuguese and British sailors to find unknown lands and especially new trading routes, whether that was around the south of Africa or the unknown route to the south of South America. Ferdinand Magellan was the navigator caught up in that intrigue. He sailed south along the coastline of South America, looking for a passage that would take him to the ocean in the west, the Pacific Ocean. Finally, he found that passage which bears his name, the Strait of Magellan. He spent much time persisting with his endeavours to find this elusive passage. That took place between the 21st of October and November the 28th in 1520. Recently, Gail and I cruised through part of the Strait of Magellan, and the rocky nature of the shoreline would have made it quite daunting. From history, we know that he was successful crossing the Pacific Ocean to the Philippines, where he met an untimely end, while the ship's Victoria finally arrived back in Europe, completing the circumnavigation of the world. The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. I remember a couple of our Frisian cows who developed corns in their knees from getting down low to the ground to get some tasty morsels of grass from under the fence, or under the electric fence. They had this down to a fine art. In many parts of the world, life was difficult at that time. Political unrest, famine and war created the desire for a better life somewhere. For some, it was the desire to find a place where they could establish a community where they had freedom to worship, and a community where they would be able to have an influence on the local inhabitants. The dawn of a new era. Where will we make our new or our next home? One of the better known groups was the Pilgrim Fathers. This small group of settlers arrived on the Mayflower to make a settlement in what became known as New England. 102 colonists arrived. Many of them were from the English Separatist Church, who had moved to the Netherlands to escape persecution. This became a springboard for them to move overseas. They hoped to establish a settlement where they would have religious freedom. Considerable time passed before a new wave of migrants prepared to make their way from Europe to greener pastures. This happened in South America, in the country known as Chile. The settlement of Puerto Montt was established in February 1853. Many of the people arriving from Germany came as a result of a government-sponsored scheme. Vast areas of land were scarcely populated, and the government feared that other countries could lay claim to it. Revolution was spreading across Europe, with the French Revolution being well known. Napoleon was on the march. Many of the educated class feared for their safety during the revolutions of 1848 in the German states. They were exiles of the revolution. They served as part of a government colonisation project and survived under harsh conditions in southern Chile at Porto Varas and Frutilla. It is recorded that the first 212 German families had arrived by the end of 1853. Today, in this Lake District of Chile, there is a large community of German-speaking citizens, many of them descendants of the first arrivals. In Frutilla, there is still evidence of that German influence, with the architectural style of many buildings, churches, and a museum celebrating the impact of German architecture. People were determined to find a place where they could live in peace and continue to live a Christian way of life. For them, this was a new beginning, the dawn of a new era. With the established churches in Europe, there was an upswell and desire to spread the gospel message, especially to the newly discovered lands that were new to the Europeans. Remember, this was the time of the early European settlement in Australia. The landing of the first fleet in Sydney Cove in New South Wales on the 26th of January 1788 began the long-term involvement of the British in the development of the Great South Land. Missionary fervour was stirring in the United Kingdom as well. The South American Mission Society was established in 1844 as the Patagonian Mission Society. The aim was to recruit missionaries to travel to remote Patagonia in South America, to establish small communities among the local people, learn their language and spread the gospel message. If you want to see the rest of this message, tune into The Dawn of a New